Hello, bonjour. People living with chronic invisible illness are sometimes referred to affectionately as spoonies, and this is because of the spoon theory, and I'm going to place a link in the description box because it's really worth a read. One note is that because it was called the spoon theory, I think it's actually a metaphor. A scientist employed in science decided that he could disprove the spoon theory, and bear in mind this is someone without a chronic illness who is actually a very healthy bodybuilder, and he contended that because he could push himself past the point where it was comfortable, that it was not valid for people to say that they were out of spoons. And this was really problematic. I mean, because this is the whole point of the spoon theory, right? Is to express to people that if you live with chronic invisible illness, you have limitations on your energy and resources that other people don't. And it's hard to express that. John Lasseter and the folks at Pixar like to use popsicle sticks as a metaphor for just the time, the man hours that it will take to do a task. So when they're planning, when they're working on a film, and they say, well, we need more popsicle sticks in order to do this, we're going to have to take them from somewhere else because we only have limited time, and that's in the context of employment, but it's the same thing. So the spoon theory is a metaphor, but the thing is that it wasn't about the word theory. This guy just wasn't going to believe that other people had the right to set their own limits and to say that things weren't okay with them. And he thought that, I guess, that they were either lying to him or denying him something that they actually owed him. And so I think this was a lot of his own stuff, his own not listening to his own pain and his own unmet needs. Anyway, I had a lot of trouble getting my pain under control last night. With increased stress comes a lot of increased pain, and since my SSDI hearing date was announced, there's been a lot of extra stress, a lot of extra pain, and I wasn't able to get to sleep until 5 this morning. I had a little bit of a nap, but I wanted to show you what I do for self-care on days when getting out of bed is just too much. I wanted to show you my nest and what I do to take care of myself. Now, self-care for me is an ongoing kind of struggle to figure out how to take care of myself. And I'm always on the lookout for things that help me, because I know that something that helps me now may not help in an hour, may not help next time. So I have to have like a huge array of things, and sometimes things stop working, like medications or whatever things I'm doing. I can't count on anything that is helping me currently, especially when I'm well. I'm always on the lookout for things that make me feel better, because there's nothing worse than waking up and finding out that I'm just like overwhelmed with symptoms. Nothing works. Nothing, because then I don't really have the capacity to focus and go and seek out new things to help. So I'm always just kind of looking for things that help me take care of myself. So this is my nest, the bedroom of the RV, and as you can see, the gutters on the sides are very small, generally filled with my laundry hampers. This is a room that is basically a bed. I used to fantasize about this, actually, about having a room that was basically just a bed. And it's a very comfortable bed. I saved a really nice mattress rather than going with the mattress that the RV came with, because it was not comfortable. And on those days when you really can't get out of bed and everything hurts, it helps to have something that's like and in this case, it's a pillow top mattress with a really soft mattress pad and an electric blanket, which was a gift, and then this lovely silk cover from China, which was also a gift, my velour robe, which I keep hanging on a hook here. I have my heater. Now, in the past, I had, when I was lying back in bed, I had like this sort of like this over thing just covered with inspirational quotes and pictures and things. And that got to be too much. It got to be overwhelming because I felt like I wasn't accepting that it was okay to just lie back in bed. And I had, like, you know, stuff on that door, stuff, everything around me. So I just kept it down to, this is a felt, like, sticky wall decoration thing that's really nice and beautiful. This is a sketch of dolphins that my late husband did. And I found out that I could make positive triggers for myself. In other words, continue to associate something with positive feelings and reminders to do positive mindfulness exercises. Dolphins were a big thing for me because my DBT coach said it's easier to think about dolphins than to not think about polar bears. So when I find myself kind of like ruminating or getting stuck in my own thoughts, I think dolphins, and that resets me and reminds me, like, okay, what is it that I want to do? And down here is a copy of a poem that I wrote called The Invocation of My Muse. It's inspired by Homer's Invocation of the Muse from the beginning of the Odyssey, as translated by T.E. Lawrence. I will post this on my website and include a link in the description, because it was really nice to write one of my own. So I used to also have, on this bed, under here, I would have a heating pad, and that, coupled with the electric blanket, gave me what I call the panini press, heat from both sides. This was especially important in the winter when heat would help my body, it would help my muscles relax. But it didn't have an auto shut-off function, and one night I woke up because it was burning into my pillow. That was a really nasty way to wake up, and so far I was so traumatized by that I haven't gotten a heating pad. But right now it's the summer, so it's not that bad. I've got really, really soft covers on my pillows, and I've got this really fantastic body pillow that I like to cuddle up to. Often I like to put it up to my back. It makes me feel soft and held on those times when I just kind of get stuck in bed, and there's not really much I can do about it. And over here's something else pretty that I've got. It's a set of masks that I got back when I still had money from some Cirque du Soleil performances that I went to. And right there is my ukulele case. After that night with my pillow, I keep the fire extinguisher right here by my bedside. Right there in the bedside window. And in case of an emergency, the opposite window has an emergency exit. Pull these handles and get out, so you can't be trapped in here. Yay! The other nice thing about this room is that it's small, so on those days when the world feels too big and I feel too small, I can feel kind of contained in here. It reminds me a little bit of Temple Grandin's Hug Box, except not quite so, like, claustrophobically tight. It just feels safe in here for me. And that's another positive trigger that I've done, is I've spent so much time in here making sure that all the things that I do in here are things to take care of myself. In other words, if I have to do something that's a little challenging, I take it out there. I don't do it in here. This is a place not just for rest, but for contemplation and for taking care of myself. So anything too challenging, I don't want to pollute the safe space with that, because that means that back here is where I feel the most restful, I feel the most safe in an admittedly unsafe situation, but as safe as I can make it. And so now we come to the other part of why this video is called Spoony Bard. This is my little red ukulele, Mark Fender, named after Mark Knopfler and his cherry red Fender Stratocaster. I was a fan of Dire Straits for the longest part of my life, in my formative teenage years. And this is a strap. I'll see if I can find where I found it online. Post a link in the description. It helps me so that I can hold it like this and don't have to try to like hold it and play it at the same time, which is especially hard when I want to play an E chord. Mostly what I know how to do is covers and noodles. I'm not going to play any copyrighted music here, YouTube, so don't freak out. Sometimes when I'm just lying in bed and I'm in so much pain. One thing is, playing the ukulele and singing will actually, warm me up from the inside out. And that's especially nice when I can't get up and make myself tea. It's also a good way of letting my feelings out, I'm finding a lot lately. So sometimes I'll just sit back here and play, like I did in the middle of the night. I haven't gotten around to writing my own songs. Believe me, I'd love to. But there's a lot of things about living in a traumatic situation that don't lend themselves to a lot of creativity. I know some people are able to make it work as starving artists and to put all that pain into their music. But since music is kind of a new thing to me, and even language has presented some difficulties, it's like a whole new language that I've got to learn. And I'm notoriously bad at learning. I'm like the problem student because I have problems with authority. And I learn best actually by watching people that I love doing work that I want to do. And then doing some online tutorials. There's a lot of great tutorials on YouTube about figuring out how to play. And the nice thing, especially for me, is that there are only 4 strings. It's not that hard like a guitar where sometimes you have to play it, but not all of the strings. There's maybe 1 or 2 chords on the ukulele where it says, don't play this string. And I'm like, screw that. I'm going to transpose it. And there's resources online for transposing chords. There are also some resources online for turning guitar tabs where it's showing you like how to do the plucking that they show, like these little tabs that they show, and you can plug that into uke tabs and it'll turn it into ukulele tabs, so you can translate any tab that you find into something that you can do on the ukulele. And that's really nice because on those days when I'm in a lot of pain and I can't get out and I don't have the money and I don't have the spoons and it's hard for me to learn from people, I can still learn how to do this all on my own. This is one of the things that I love about the internet is self-directed learning, because I love self-directed learning. I really do. It lets me set my own pace. It lets me have these days where I just can't do anything except sit back here in my nest, my little nest, and play. So thanks for watching. This is what I do on those days when I just don't have the spoons to get out of bed. This is how I've made it a little bit easier on myself. There's days when I want to lie in bed and sometimes just feel like, why can't I do anything? Why can't I human? Why can't I adult? I can take my spoons and barred it up back here in my nest. I hope that those of you who struggle, whether you have chronic illness or just struggle with self-care, I hope that you can find things that work for you and make nests and safe places for yourself. Thanks for watching.